Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 race description. And today, coming at you from the Expanded Psionics Handbook, we've got the Drominite, or the Dromite. And it's actually an interesting race. So let's start talking about what they are. So they're kind of a humanoid bug creature, mostly humanoid, but they definitely have some strong bug characteristics. Like, for instance, they're genderless. That's actually one of the more interesting things about them, is they straight up just don't have a gender. They also have 4 different types, one for fire, ice, wind, and I believe earth, I think, and electricity. So they have the 4 different castes that they can belong to, and yeah, each one has its own different personality type. They also have their own resistances, which is cool. They're very different. Now they do sort of have genders. So in each group of Dromites, there are 2 that have genders, one male and one female. Yeah, the Grand Queen and the elected consort. Now, those 2 are interesting because they're both elected, and they change every year, and every year they pick 2 prominent members, and I'm like, yep, you're the queen, you're the consort, and those 2 are the ones in charge, and then they develop gender characteristics, and then they get busy having a bunch of Dromite babies. That's how that works. And they are also the leaders, but they don't really do much leading. They mostly focus on the baby making, and yeah. But when they do say something, it can, like, everyone listens. But what's interesting is all the babies, they go to a nursery, and so there's these the Dromites, they have families, basically, and they call them so they basically have like a family. I forget what the name is. It's like I literally just read this. So that they have like they're sort of like a marriage, but it's got multiple people in it. It's kind of like a family, except for nobody has genders, and they just sort of pick babies up from the nursery. So the babies aren't even theirs. Like they're from that year's queen and consort. So that's kind of interesting. The queen and consort just have all the kids, and everyone else just sort of adopts them and raises them up into their unique families. It's a weird system, but that's how they do it. And they take a last name based off of the family that they're in, and their family gives them a first name. Their actual biological parents really are just their biological parents. They have nothing to do with that, and that's how they do things. So it's certainly an interesting dynamic with that. If you're playing a character that's a Dromite, that's not the main thing you're going to want to focus on. You're going to focus on your cast. That's really important. You're going to want to really play up whatever cast you're in, and you're also likely to be adventuring, possibly not even by choice. Dromites are very big on letting people adventure. They also really like to explore. They live underground, but they like to leave underground. And very few of them will ever spend their entire lives there. They like to at least spend a little bit of their life above ground. So most of them will want to adventure at some point. And on top of that, their lands are often limited, so they often kind of like force people to go on adventures in order to, make space for everyone else. So that's an interesting trait of them. So if you're playing one, you might be on the adventure because, your family told you had to. I keep saying family. I know there's an actual term. I just Cannot remember it off the top of my head. And a life bond, that's what it is. So your life bond might be like forcing you out. At least temporarily. Though, I mean, they'll let you back eventually, but they might force you to go on an adventure to leave some space. And life bonds can last forever because when people die, new ones join. So it can be a very long-lasting life bond that can last like centuries. Okay, so let's get into the actual statistics here. So it's an interesting one for sure. So +2 charisma, -2 strength, -2 wisdom. So an effective -2 stat pool. That's not good. Especially once we get to the fact that they actually have a level adjustment of +1. So that's really rare, but they do get some things to make up for that. All right, so let's get into some of this. Monstrous humanoids, so things that like charm person and dominate person don't affect them. Also things like reduce person and reduce person. The one that makes you bigger. I am spacing the word right now. Enlarge, enlarge person. Those won't work. A lot of spells won't work, which is problematic. I think even some of the revival spells might not. Actually, I think those probably would. It can be problematic, but it's also beneficial. They have a base land speed of 20 feet. They're small, not great. Can be okay though, especially if they go into manifesting. So they have a chitin, which is their exoskeleton, which gives them +3 natural armor, which is not bad. That's one of the higher ones. And they also get energy resistant to a single type of energy, which is determined by which caste they're in. So if they're of the fire caste, they get fire. They're of the sonic, they get air, they get sonic. Or when they get sonic. If they're of the lightning, they get lightning, etc. Naturally psionic, they get 1 bonus power point at first level, and that's it. It doesn't give them the ability to manifest. Although it can be used for their next one, I think, for their psi-like ability, they get an energy ray, which basically it will. It's of the same type of as their I've said it a million times. Their cast manifester level equal to 1/2. So that minimum of 1, minimum of first, and it's charisma based. DC's charisma based. I believe they do have to use power points for it and can probably augment it to do more damage, but they're gonna need more power points for that and more. Their cast manifest level would go up, but they are going to need more power points. So probably just going to be at first level for the first WoW, which would be just 1d6. And that one, it varies in strength depending on which energy type. They also gain Scent at first level, which not a bad ability. Can be useful for tracking. They get Blind Fight, and I think this is where the level adjustment comes in. That and the energy resistance, because their energy resistance does stack with other energy resistances. So they just have a permanent energy resistance, and then if they put on another energy resistance, it will stack. So that's really good. I think it's between the energy resistance and the fact that they get Blind Fight just for free is why they have the level adjustment. Because their stats are definitely not warranting a level adjustment. They're actually bad. They have compound eyes, so they get a +2 on spot checks. Automatic language is common. Bonus language is Dwarven, Gnome, Goblin, and Terran. And favorite class Wilder, and as I said, level adjustment of +1. So all in all, hard to say how good of a race this is. The fact that they do have bad stats and a level adjustment, not so great. Blind Fight's pretty good, though, and so is that energy resistance. So that's not bad. The fact that they have this psi-like ability once per day, not bad. You know, they can use that one PowerPoint to do it. If they go into a manifesting class like Wilder, then they are going to be able to use that a little better, more effectively. So that's good. Yeah, um, I'd say it's a decent enough race, especially for a psionic race. Yeah. If you guys have any comments, anything you'd like to say about this race, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below. If not, or even if you do, if you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. If not, or I keep saying if not. Sorry, it's late. Anyways, if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel. You know, maybe ring that bell to get notifications, because YouTube probably won't give them to you if you don't. And if you enjoyed the video, you know, and you know someone who might also enjoy it, consider sharing it. Anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you